This may well be one of the weirdest episodes I'm going to do on this channel. I'm going to talk about something that I've seen within the Monsters, Inc. cartoon that really screams of ancient Egypt to me. And I don't know if it's intentional or if it's a subconscious thing or if it's not even related at all. But let me take you on a journey, okay? So I live in New Zealand, and in New Zealand we have a supermarket called Woolworths, and currently they are giving away these Disney Pixar cards with every $20 of groceries bought. And so I got some of these cards and I opened one of them up to have a little look. And lo and behold, there's this card of Monsters, Inc. On one side, it's Mike Wazowski, and on the other side, it's Monstropolis. So, before I realised that it was Monstropolis, I saw this building with all these strange-looking balls at one side, and I thought to myself, I recognise this from my dreams of ancient Egypt. And so then I thought, well, I better see what I can find to align with this. First of all, look at the shape of the building on the side. Now look at the shape of the buildings from the Old Kingdom. And this one is in Saqqara. And here is another one. And here is another one with the same sort of leaning shape on it. So in the dream, I was visiting a palace. The walls on the outside were essentially the same shape and the same, go in and out and in and out all around. And the front was flat. The building itself had a big open area in the middle, and there were rooms around the outside. So the inside was totally different to Monsters, Inc. But the shape of the building on the outside was so similar that it reminded me of a dream I had a very long time ago about visiting a palace in the Old Kingdom. And I don't think there are any buildings left from the palaces. They weren't built with the big blocks of stone, so they didn't tend to survive. So it's difficult for me to prove that palaces had that sloping style. Archaeologists have theorized what the palaces might have looked like in the Old Kingdom of ancient Egypt, but their theories don't match what I have seen in the dreams, although there are some aspects that do. But overall, that concept of the sloping wall and the central courtyard don't seem to be a part of what the Egyptologists describe in their perception of the palaces of ancient Egypt. Let's move on to the strange ball things that were on the card. And you see the same items in the artwork of ancient Egypt all over the place. I saw quite a lot of these sorts of things. And so I think that is very similar. And finally, let's talk about the I in the middle of the M for Monsters, Inc. Because the eye is a big thing with Egypt. And we've got the eye of Horus, the eye of Ra. We've got a lot of eye symbols within the symbology of ancient Egypt. So these similarities probably are just a coincidence. It's just very, very interesting. And I do wonder if somewhere in the subconscious of some people's minds there is a previous life that they've lived, and these images naturally come to the surface without them realizing. But hey, that's just my opinion on reincarnation. But some of you will probably ask me at this point, what was the dream? Well, I was going to visit a palace because someone important had died, and we often didn't go anywhere near places like Egypt, for the dynastic peoples, except when there was a time of mourning, because it was quite a cruel place, and there was a lot of animals that basically were sacrificed for no purpose whatsoever except because they thought that their gods liked it. And we didn't want to interfere. In fact, we weren't allowed to interfere. But it was something that most of us couldn't stomach. So the times that we would go to visit a palace or a pharaoh would be during a time of mourning, because they didn't do any of that sort of thing during a time of mourning. And so it actually became a much more acceptable time to go and hang out there. There were times that we had to go, we had a mission, we had a purpose, but on this particular occasion, we just were going to pass on our condolences and basically catch up with one of the key people and see if there was anything new that anyone had found, because the dynastic Egyptians were always searching for things from the ancients, and if it was high technology, we really didn't want them to have it. So yeah, a lot of the dreams are about trying to retrieve bits of technology, and but this one was quite a sedate, boring kind of dream, but lovely in its own way, because it was a nice, pleasant dream, and it was a social kind of dream. So that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you next time.